update double feature for weeks 6 and 7 of Florida's legislative session. Late last week, the showdown for a vote that risks the retirement security of nearly 1 million Floridians was up for a vote on the House floor.
One of their representatives is on his way to this building.
House members are playing a dangerous game with the Florida retirement system by attempting to hold hostage a typically non-controversial funding bill and forcing the Senate to accept changes to the retirement system. The House wants to
push
new employees into riskier 401k type plans as opposed to the traditional pension, a change no one but Wall Street wants.
It's a racket, that's what it is.
By attaching this controversial language to a must-pass budget bill, the House is hoping to sneak these changes past the Senate without a vote during the closed-door budget process. Democratic House members spoke out in opposition to this risky change.
I think this is the start of the demise of the Florida retirement system, and I don't know why we want to do something. It's so weird. Some of these other bills we're talking about, we've had a problem for years. It's been such a problem, we need to fix it, members. But here we have something that's not broken. Why are we trying to fix something that's not broken? We're in the top 5 in the nation. Let's not put us in the lower 5.
HB 5007 passed the full House last Thursday, and now all eyes are on the Senate next week to see if they adopt the dangerous language in their version of the bill. The workers' compensation overhaul had stalled during the first half of the session, but has been racing through the process over the past few weeks. HB 7085, the House version, was debated on the floor this week. While a coalition of working family advocates have focused on greater protections, choices, and access to legal representation for injured workers, the current version of the bill in the Florida House does just the opposite.
It's not that bad, Paul. It's worse.
The bill's weak protections for those injured on the job drew sharp dissent on the floor.
It concentrates on the insurance carriers leaving the injured workers at a deficit.
The injured worker is not getting their just due under this bill, and I would ask that you vote it down.
The passage of this bill is going to guarantee that when workers are forced to litigate, fighting for what is literally theirs, what they have paid for, they're going to be placed at an even more dramatic economic disadvantage. I would implore you not to tie the hands of those injured workers as they enter a fight potentially for their economic lives. Please vote no and stand with injured workers. For once, thank you.
HB 7085 passed the House, and the Senate version of the bill is up for a floor vote next week. Also on the House floor this week, legislators debated HB 599 by Representative Williams, the bill that would preempt local living wage, prevailing wage, and apprenticeship requirements on public works projects. While House members asked important questions on this preemption legislation that would result in a pay cut for thousands of workers, Representative Williamson sounded like a broken record with his poor defense of this big contractor-backed bill.
So the local government that has 50% local tax money into this project should not have a say of how they provide for the people in their local municipality, in their jurisdiction.
If that is a mandate that is mandated for a private business before they're even able to bid on a project, then this would apply.
There are processes in place for bids that are tied between different vendors. How would this bill change those tie-breaking processes?
This only deals with pre-bid mandates.
Why would we want to tell a local government that had made a determination that it was in the best interest of the community and its economic health to have some living wage or prevailing wage or something paid? Why would we want to tell them, no, they can't?
If there's a pre-bid mandate to weed out bidders before they even bid on the project, then it's not allowed.
As we approach the final 2 weeks of session, the window to stop bad bills in committee is quickly coming to a close.
In my opinion, it is only a matter of days, even hours.
Oh, how perfectly awful.
On Thursday this week, the Senate Appropriations Committee voted on SB 534, the companion bill to the Public Works preemption passed in the House. After hundreds of activists from across the state made calls against this bad bill, union members also spoke out in committee to support pro-worker local ordinances and urged the committee to vote no.
All those people who voted for you, that asked you to come up here and voice their opinion, they came together to put together some wage ordinances or some veterans hiring preferences. That's why we're standing up here. We're asking you not to support 534 because it undermines your local community.
Big corporations can't get their way at the local level, so they come here to Tallahassee to make these sweeping preemption bills pass. I have a really hard time believing that this is really in the interest of the little guy when we've seen this happen over and over and over, and I think it's massive overreach.
After a close vote, senators passed SB 534 out of this final committee stop, and the bill now heads to a vote on the Senate floor next week. After a tough week as anti-worker legislation continued to roll through the chambers, our working class heroes from across the state shared their experiences at the Capitol.
It's been quite interesting being up here, meeting legislatures, seeing the process, and having some influence on it.
This is the chance to be the voice of your community and be the voice of the working families that you stand for.
From personal experience, the things you say to them, they are paying attention to who is watching.
I believe it's an invaluable experience for members to come on up here to Tallahassee, to engage the politicians, to collaborate with other members, to really educate yourself on the process and really help the cause for education and for students throughout the state.
These legislators are making decisions for us that affect each of us, of how we live, how we pay our bills, and things that affect our children as well.
One of the best things has been getting to know a lot more of my sisters and brothers in the AFL-CIO from around Florida, and together we are making a difference.
If we're not here, they'll do it anyway. So it's important that we're here and they do it our way.
Raise your voice and let them know that we won't be defeated.
We're heading into the final stretch of the 2017 legislative session. Now is the time that your activism will make a difference. Be sure to sign up for legislative alerts on our Facebook and website to get the latest calls to action so that legislators hear your voice on the issues that are affecting workers. Till next week.
Solidarity!